What's up YouTube, HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with my Harpie Lady deck profile. So the new TCG list is out, and it really didn't do anything to my deck. So I'm really okay about that. We don't have Feather Duster, which is probably the only sad thing, and we lost Summon Sorceress. I know a lot of Harpie players were playing Summon Sorceress because of her additional summoning effect. So we did lose out on her. But I'm not too worried. I'm not too shooken up by it. And I'm actually just more excited that nothing got hit that was too crucial in support, whether it was directly or indirectly. So, without further ado, let's get into deck profile. Alright, so I'm going to start it off with my monster lineup. And my monster lineup consists of 3 Harpie Channeler, 3 Harpie Perfumer, 3 Harpie Oracle, 3 Harpie Harpist, 2 Harpie Lady 1 Cyber Harpie Lady, and 1 Harpie Dancer, 1 Harpie Queen, and 1 Harpie Lady Sisters. So that is it for the main deck in terms of its monsters. For my spells, I'm running 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 1 copy of Elegant Egotist, 1 copy of Triangle Ecstasy Spark, 2 copies of Alluring Mirror Split, these here, 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Rest, 1 Regeki, and 1 Monster Reborn. So that is my spells. Then on to my traps. I'm running 3 copies of Harpie's Feather Store, 2 copies of Hysteric Party, 1 copy of Harpie Lady Elegance, 2 copies of Infinity Impermanence, and 2 copies of Red Reboot. So that is it for my traps, and that is the main deck, 40 cards total. For the extra, I'm running 3 copies of Great Fly, 1 copy of Fighter Fighting Darumidol, 1 copy of Decode Talker, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, 2 copies of Lightning Chidori, 1 copy of Castel, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine, Abyss Dweller, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, Gaga Cowboy, and Babushka the Terribly Tired Tape Eater. So that is pretty much it for the main and the extra deck. So, with Harpie Ladies, like I said, there wasn't really much change. And there wasn't really much to fear from the new list. So, Harpie Channeler pretty much is our biggest summon. She will discard you can discard a Harpie card to summon a Harpie monster from your deck to the field in defense position. If you control a Dragon type monster, her level changes from 4 to 7. So if you're going to run Harpie's pet, here you go. And then not to mention all the benefits you get from her having Dragon on the field, because you get into your rank 7 plays, and then there are a ton of great rank 7 monsters if you have not seen them yet. Go ahead and get them because they are amazing. Too bad we don't have Tomahawk, because that was one of the big Harpie plays, because you can get your tokens and then go crazy with a field like that. Next up is Harpie Perfumer, and I'm running 3 Perfumer because I want to see her. I want to make sure I have multiple copies of her in the hand or in the graveyard and stuff like that. What Perfumer does is when she's normal special summon, you can just add a spell or trap card that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in its text and add it to your hand. If you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can add 2 cards to your hand, but they cannot share the same name. This is pretty much to speed up the process of searching for a lot of the old school Harpie cards that have Harpie Lady Sisters in the text. So cards like Triangle Ecstasy Spark, Cyber Shield, Harpie's Phoenix Formation. Of course, a lot of the big utility cards, Harpie's Hunting Ground. We have Harpie Lady Elegance, Alluring Mirror Split, and Harpie's Feather Rest to add to this quotient now because they have Harpie Lady Sisters in their text. So Perfumer gets a ton of support there. I'm also going to talk about the next monster, which I run in 3 of, and that's Harpie Oracle, because Oracle is pretty much her opposite end. When during the end phase, in which the card is no longer special summon, you can add a spell or trap that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters from your deck to your hand. From your graveyard to your hand. But that is an end phase effect. Harpie Perfumer is a when she's normal special summon effect. So even though they are pretty much polar opposites, night and day, Perfumer and Oracle are great additions to Harpies because they help get those cards back and help circulate those cards as much as possible. Then we're going to talk about Harpie Harpist. Harpie Harpist. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about one more thing about Harpie Perfumer. Oracle. Oracle has an effect that if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can special summon her from your hand. So that speeds up her summoning process. Now let's move on to Harpie Harpist. And Harpist's effect is pretty simple. If you control another winged beast monster, and your opponent controls a face-up monster, you can turn those cards to hand. When Harpie Harpist goes summon. When this card is sent to the graveyard and she's in the graveyard during that end phase, you can add a level 4 winged beast monster with 15 or less attacks and add it to your hand. So you have a ton of utility with the Harpie Lady engine itself because a lot of the monsters have 15 or less attack. The next thing about Harpie Harpist is, of course, you can discard her off of cards like Hysteric Party, Harpie Channeler, and get her effects a lot faster. You can play Foolish Burial to speed up that process. But for the most part, Harpie Harpist is a great monster for her discard ability, and her bounce ability as well. But her bounce ability won't come into much play until we get Harpie Conductor and can go from there. I'm running one Harpie Dancer, and in conjunction with Harpie Harpist is the bounce effect. And that only really comes in handy at a rare occasion if your opponent has massive back row or forcing them to have massive back row, because you can easily force them with a lot of cards. But that is Harpie Dancer, and she's not as strong as she used to be because there really, like I said, a lot of decks don't play back row, so there really isn't much need for Harpie Dancer. The next monster, of course, is Harpie Queen. I'm only running one of her because Oracle and Perfumer can retrieve and search for Hunting Ground, which is Harpie Queen's main effect. Discard herself, add Harpie's Hunting Ground from your deck to your hand. So, she sets up the graveyard. She sets up the field because with the introduction of Perfumer and Oracle, the Harpie Ladies went through another change. So the effect now states, this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. So, Channeler, Queen, Dancer, Harpist, Oracle, and Perfumer all have that effect of they become Harpie Lady while in the field or in the graveyard. It does not change the original text, it's just another clarification of it. So, those are those 6 Harpie Ladies, and still some of my favorites. Cyber Harpie Lady is here because she is my additional beat stick outside of Harpie Queen. Harpie Lady 1 gives that additional attack power. And of course, these are the Harpie Ladies that are always treated as Harpie no matter where they are. Hand, field, deck, or graveyard. Excuse me. As well as your Elegant Eats targets. Speaking of Elegant Eats targets, Harpie Lady Sisters. So, a lot of people are really excited that we get these cards to help with Harpie Lady Sisters. In terms of summoning, in terms of putting them on the board, protection, and stuff like that. Harpie Lady Sisters is literally the only high-level Winged Beast Harpie monster in the game right now. So, she's going to have to get a lot more utility. I know there isn't a retrain, but that's perfectly fine. As long as I can play my Harpie Lady Sisters, I am perfectly okay. So, that is pretty much my main deck in terms of its monsters. On to the spells. I'm running 3 Hysteric Sign because this is pretty much Harpie's best spell. Either you can add Elegant Aegis from your deck or graveyard to your hand, or during the end phase, you can discard with sent from hand or field to the graveyard. You can add up to 3 Harpie cards from your deck to your hand. And because we have spells, we have traps, and we have monsters with Harpie in this name, this card just keeps getting more and more better. Now, if we do get a searcher for this card, I would be surprised, as well as Hysteric Party, and they'd have to be really, really limited to what they do. Now, speaking of things that are limited to what they do, I'm running 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground. Let me show you guys 2 Hysteric Sign and my Harpie's Hunting Ground. Alright, so Harpie's Hunting Ground has its multiple effects. The first one is that it gives all Winged Beast monsters additional 200 attack and defense. But when Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is normal or special summon, the player who conducted that summon targets a color crap and destroys it. So you're pretty much correct. They pretty much corrected the issues that people have with Harpies hunting ground and Hysteric Party. Just for clarification, if you summon a group of Harpies off of a card like Hysteric Party, it only counts as whoever was summoning the Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters, and then the spell or track gets destroyed, um, not all of them, because multiples are being summoned at once. No, it's a simultaneous summon, just like cards like Rescue Rabbit and Rescue Cat. So that was something that it took a very long time for it to happen, but it happened. I'm running one Elegant Egotist because of the fact that I have signed Oracle Perfumer to get it back to my hand. Elegant Egotist, when you control a harp, if there's a Harpie Lady on the field, you just summon Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. So it is that it was prepared. Amazing. And you get a lot of utility out of this now because we're running Harpie Lady Sisters. And I love the fact that I can get Harpie Sisters off of this. Speaking of Harpie Lady Sisters, it's time to talk about their attack card, Triangle Ecstasy Spark. So, things you need to know about this card is that if you control Harpie Lady Sisters, it'll make their attack become 2700. Any additional buffs after this card is activated will be counted. Any before it will not be. Also, you need to have Harpie Lady Sisters on the field to trigger this card's effect. The only way around this that I know of, or that I can honestly say of, is Diamond Dude. And that's literally because of how Diamond Dude's effect is activated. Other than that, it's Triangle Ecstasy Spark. It makes your Harpie Lady Sisters 2700. It cuts off your opponent's trap cards until the end of the turn and negates any of their trap cards that are already in play. So, the opponent can't activate any and their cards are negated. Yeah, let's move on to Alluring Mirror Split. So, I'm running two of these because of the fact that I want to get to this card as fast as possible. The other additional thing about Alluring Mirror Split is if my Harpie Lady or Sisters is destroyed a battle, I can special summon a Harpie monster from my deck to replace it, but they have to have different original names. I just wish that effect wasn't locked behind it being a battle only effect. Like if this was an effect that you could trigger through your Harpies being destroyed by card effect, this would be a great card to use. But unfortunately, it isn't. The other benefits to this is that if this card is destroyed by your Harpie card effect or your opponent's card effect, this will summon a Harpie monster from your graveyard to the field. So when I use my Harpie Lady Sisters up, they get destroyed, and I manage to blow up my Alluring Mirror Split. I'm gonna go get my Harpie Lady Sisters. Like I said, thanks to a lot of the problem-solving text and stuff, a lot of the older Harpie cards and a lot of the newer Harpie cards have more synergy than before. So that is the Alluring Mirror Split. I'm running one copy of Harpie's Feathergrass. It's pretty much your pot of average for your Harpie cards. You have three or more Harpie Lady, or you have three Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters engraved. Shuffle them back into the deck and draw a card. But if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can draw 2 cards instead of 1. So, like I said, those plays with Dragon and Chandler, plays with any Dragon with Chandler on the board, or a play that consists of Harpie Ladies already engraved. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry about the yawning. In Harpie's Pet Dragon, on Harpie Lady Sisters, you get a double bonus off of this. That's why I love this card, but I'm not going to run too many of it. Because just like Elegant Egotist in Triangle Ecstasy Spark, we have ways to search for it, we have ways to retrieve it. So that is pretty much them. And then the only other spells to talk about are Raigeki and Monster Reborn. Reborn gets monsters back, and Raigeki wipes your opponent's board clean. So that is my spells. Onto my trap card. So I'm running 3 copies, of course, of Harpie's Featherstorm. Harpie's Featherstorm is Harpie's way of getting away from all of the crazy shenanigans that is hand traps. By negating monster effects until the end, by negating the activation of monster effects at the end of the turn, Harpie's Featherstorm just helps deal with so many problems. Hand traps, graveyard effects, nasty monster stuff. Nope. Featherstorm away. You can activate this card from your hand if you control a wind-winged. You can activate this card if you only activate this card if you control a wind-winged beast. And if you control a Harpie monster, you can activate this card from your hand. I know it really conflicts with Castell and Harpie's Pet Dragon if they ever end up on the board together, but that's just how it is. Alright, the other thing about Harpie's Feather Storm is its last effect. Unfortunately, the TCG does not have Harpie's Feather Duster, so it cannot fully resolve. But for those who want to know, if this card is in your spell trap card zone and is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can add one Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Yeah, I know, broken. But sadly enough, not too broken to have unbanned Feather Duster in the TCG. Maybe one day. Hysteric Party, and I'm running 2 of Hysteric Party. So what Hysteric Party is it's your return from a different dimension for all your Harpie monsters. Queen, Chandler, Dancer, Oracle, Perfumer, and Harpist are pretty much your big targets. It cannot get Harpie Lady Sisters because they're not treated as Harpie Lady. But it gets all of your other cards to get a lot of your combo pieces to get your Harpie Lady Sisters back on the board and keep going. Hysteric Party is still one of my favorite Harpie traps, and it's one of my favorite trap cards in this game because it takes your entire archetype and brings them back to the field, and then they can just wreck everything. I mean, everything. And with enough attack power, trust me, they'll do it. Next up is Harpie Lady Elegance. So, similar to Harpie's Feather Rest, because I forgot to mention this, if these cards' effects are activated, for the rest of the turn, you can summon nothing but wind monsters, which is perfectly fine because most of my deck is wind, so I really don't care. But some good example of wind monsters you guys can play, of course, the kaijus. You can also take advantage of what can you take advantage of? Oh, this card be destroyed by your Harpie card effect. Excuse me, because if it is, you can add a Harpie monster from your deck to your hand. While it's in the spell or trap, or your opponent's stupid enough to destroy it. The other thing is, it returns your Harpie Lady Sisters on the field back to the deck, and then you start summon a Harpie monster from your deck, from your hand, and from your graveyard, as long as they don't have share the same name. So this at least gives Harpie's Play Baby Dragon some more versatility if you guys want to decide to play that. But other than that, it's a pretty decent Harpie card. It sends your Harpie Lady Sisters back, so you have recovery there. And you have all these tons of other Harpie monsters. You need some another copy of Harpie Lady Sisters if you're running too. So, other than that, Infinity Impervience. This is pretty much what you would use if you don't want to run Effect Veiler. Because Harpies pop their own spells and trap cards, I mean, this card kind of just benefits in so many ways to help defend us. I mean, you can still run your hand traps if you don't prefer this, or if you can't get to this, because it is pretty pricey now. I think the cheapest I got it for was around $45, and that was like on a lucky guess, and they had a set. So I ended up getting all 3. I just used 2 in my deck right now, just because it's very weird. Like, I don't know if I want to see this card as much as I want to see Effect Veiler, and that's pretty much how I'm looking at it. But it's still a hand trap, regardless, and it's still a great synergetic hand trap. The other trap card in this deck that I'm running 2 of, because I'm running 2 of each, is a red reboot. Forcing my opponent to, when my opponent activates a trap card, negate it, force them to set another one from the deck, and then neither of them can be activated, or any other trap cards can be activated from my opponent till the end of the turn. So it makes good fodder for my Harpie ladies with my Harpie's Hunting Ground and a ton of the summons I'm going to be doing. So thanks to red reboot, that is possible. And if I can activate it from my hand, I pay half my life points, but that's going to be very situational there. Alright, I am done with the main deck. Let's go on to the extra. So I have my full set of Grapefly. Grapefly is amazing. Helps with that additional 500 attack and defense, so it makes my wind monsters able to take out a lot of cards that they normally couldn't. Another benefit to this is its recovery effect. If this card is was sent to the graveyard, I can add a wind monster from my graveyard back to my hand, so I can retrieve any of my wind monsters and make sure they go back to either my hand or the extra deck, and then I can benefit from them in that sense. Grapefly is just really, really good, and when Harpie Conductor comes out, I'll still probably be rocking Grapeflies, just so that it can help her out as well. I'm running 1 Daruma Doll simply because 1, space, and then 2, it's a really good asset to decks that run Beast, Beast Warrior, and or Winged Beast. Destroying a solar trap card we control to destroy a solar trap card my opponent controls. Then, when it attacks and destroys a monster, I can add a banished or a banished Winged Beast monster from my banished Winged Beast monster to my hand, or a Winged Beast monster that's in my graveyard. If I was playing the Beast or Beast Warrior, I can do that too. Excuse me, too. And ironically enough, he takes any combination of those for his summon, so he's really accessible there as well. The only other thing is he's not Wind, because I would totally abuse him if he was Wind. Deco Talker is the last of the Link monsters that I run, simply because it's accessible, because it's a 3. I don't have to waste too many resources on it, and it's a very offensive and defensive monster. So, thanks Deco Talker for being just like Utopia. A monster that our main protagonist use, and has various forms around it, but does not hurt any deck that it's in. So, my Harpie Lady extra deck, of course, consists of the first extra deck monster they have, and that's Phantasmal Dragon. Tornado Dragon to get rid of spells and traps. Double Lightning Chidori to rid cards on the field, so that disrupts plays. Castel, similar to Chidori, getting rid of cards. Or I have the option to set cards, and then Chidori can get rid of them then. And then the Ice Beast Zero Fine, negating all my opponent's cards that are face up on the field. Then in addition to that, for every face up card on the board, she's going to gain 300 attack and defense. 300 attack till my next standby phase. So that makes her a giant wall. Also, I want to talk about Phantasmal Dragon just for a minute, because he is technically the first of the extra deck cards we're getting for Harpie monsters. Phantasmal Dragon is only really difficult to summon because you need 3 wind monsters to use for a succeed summon. The next thing about it is that it protects your Harpie cards from being targeted for battle or card effects, so none of those shenanigans going around. And in addition to that, it can attack directly as long as it has its material. During each of your end phases, it loses some material, but if you can put on the pressure and put on damage, that should not be a hard thing. I can't wait for Conductor to come out, because literally, she will help protect Phantasmal from stuff like Torrential Tribute, Dark Hole, Raigeki. So Abyss Dweller is in the extra deck because Dweller can help deal with Salamangreat, help deal with Ultra Geist and their graveyard effects. Just helps with graveyard effects in general that your opponent's going to be trying to use off. And if I was running some water monsters, he'd gain some attack points as well. But unfortunately, I'm not. For added removal, Exciton Knight. And Exciton Knight can change the stuff through his effect. Then Gaga Cowboy for that 800 points of damage. And Babushka, in case I can't get to my a lot of my primary setup and utility. Babushka, I'm actually move everything up a little bit. Babushka helps in that sense, because then I can stall out with Babushka, and then once I get all my utility stuff, then I can go off by switching Babushka to attack mode, and he can't be targeted by my opponent's card effects while he's in attack position. While he's in defense position, my opponent's all monsters on the field cannot active effects are negated, and then they're all switched to defense mode. So very defensive, very, very hefty monster, and just very, very useful to everything. So with that said and done, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. So I thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's a bit of a long one, so trust me, I know. But don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell when you guys want to be notified of when I do upload videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. HBJ, signing out. Take care.